Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back. This is Maximize. How's it going? So today guys, I wanted to go over one of my new favorite plants. It's right here. I'm filming very casually by it right now, but this is her kingdom. She's right above my umbrella tree. The gorgeous string of hearts. I wanted to kind of go over care tips and why I'm a huge fan of this plant now, because it's just blown me away. I thought it was hyped up a lot, so that's why I was hesitant to get it and dive in, you know, and actually get it. But now that I have it, I'm a believer and a lover of it, the plant. So anyway, let's get into string of hearts care tips. So the number one thing you really have to remember about this plant is that it is a succulent, okay? So that means, sorry, Selena is like running around, distracting me. So you got to remember that this is a succulent, so it really appreciates fast draining soil. So I have this guy right here in 100% cactus mix with rocks mixed in. Drainage is important. So you really don't want this guy just sitting in water. You want the water to be shooting out of the bottom pretty much almost exactly once you're pouring it in. So you want the drainage to be instantaneous, because that's how it goes for succulents. They really will obtain too much water if you let the water sit in their soil for too long, and they're gonna rot and they're just gonna die. So don't let it die, okay? Another important factor that is really crucial for this plant is that it really prefers indirect bright light. So hang it really close to a very bright window, but don't allow direct sun to hit its leaves. It is a little more sensitive. I know a lot of people think, oh, succulents can handle anything, you know, whatever, but they can't. You know, a lot of them in the succulent family, they can't handle direct sun. It's just a little too much for them. You know, they're not like those tough aloes and stuff that you see out in the desert, or agaves or whatever. Like, they aren't that. They're not that. So don't put them in direct sun. They will die. They will burn. They won't be looking good, okay? So indirect light is perfect for them. I have this one hanging about 5 to 6 feet back from my south facing window, and south is essentially the brightest you can get. So this seems to be its happy place, because as you can see, a lot of its stems, it's hard to point and talk. It's hard to point when you're filming. So a lot of these stems have stood up now, and they're starting to reach towards the light, which is really good. That's what you want. So that's how I know, like, okay, like, I think this is a good amount of light for it. Eventually I might move it closer to the window in the summer months, but I think for now this is perfecto. So make sure bright indirect light. It cannot handle medium, it cannot handle low. It's just not going to grow, and it's not going to perform very well. So really needs bright. Another thing about this plant is that it's super easy to propagate. I actually propagated a little bit with my mom when I first got it, and all you have to do is snip off one of these, make sure a leaf node is on the piece that you cut, put that in some soil or a wet paper towel, and keep it moist for, you know, a few weeks, and you should have another piece of it. So you can literally just keep adding to the top of your pot new little pieces and propagated pieces of it to really fill it in up top. Like, that is really essential for this plant, because it's obviously a vining plant. You're not going to get much action up top, so you really want it to just spill over very aggressively. And in order to do that, you got to propagate your little heart out. Otherwise it's just going to look kind of leggy and kind of weird, and like, well, what is that? It's like a weird bunch of little vines or something, you know? Like, that's why it's more of a statement when you fill it in with propagated bits. Lastly, watering this plant is always kind of like the biggest, like, what am I doing? And people forget again that this is a succulent. So, you know, yes, it has fast draining soil. Yes, it's not going to retain that much water when your water is shooting through the soil like that, but you still don't want to water it that much, okay? Only water it every 2 weeks. Like, I'm just gonna lay that down. It's very rare when you're gonna need to water it every week, only when it's like really hot, you know, or if you have it really close to a window where it gets some, you know, morning light or something. You really only want to water it every 2 weeks, and maybe only once a month in the winter, because again, this is a succulent. They retain a lot of water in their leaves, so you really want to like calm down with the watering. Calm it down. Overwatering, I think, is the #1 killer of this plant. So really just keep telling yourself, okay, it's a succulent, it doesn't need that much water. I need to relax, just take a breath. I literally have only watered it once since I brought it home like a month ago. So just, and look at her, she looks good. She's looking good. So trust me, every 2 weeks, tops. So I've really grown to love this plant. I really thought it was like super overrated, and I was like, okay, what's all the hype about? I don't really get it with this plant. I'm like, it looks fine, like it looks cool, but like I don't really, you know, everyone was just so obsessed with it, and particularly the variegated kind. This one is not a variegated kind, it's just green, you know, like a plant, normal plant. It's like having ivy, like the leaves even look kind of like ivy, but without all the work and without all the pests. Like this plant is really pest repellent. You know, usually succulents are like, it's very rare when you get any kind of like weird things going on. So for that fact, it's like a ivy replacement. It's really good in this indirect light setting. I mean, I can't recommend it enough. So I really would suggest beginners, whoever, go get this plant, just relax on the water. That's it, okay? Just don't water it that much. So that's it, guys, about the string of hearts. I really highly recommend it. I mean, it's super easy. So please subscribe if you haven't. Please like, please comment, and let me know what you want to see, okay? And please turn on those notification bells so you know every time I post. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!